Alright, how you guys doing today? We about to hop into a little reaction. The first things first, though, I just want to make sure y'all like that video. Hit a like, it's a full screen. Scroll a bit, like it, but screen it back up. You, me. Come on now. We had a performance today. Mad turn, mad hype. We didn't place or nothing, but still have fun nonetheless. Glad it's over. I can relax. I can clean my room. Do you see this? Yo, my dad and brother came out. We just went to Taco Bell. Mexico didn't win the competition, but we still had Taco Bell. If you, yeah, no. Anyway. But yeah, today's video is coming from Jake W, and I will show you how that's spelled so you don't type in the wrong thing if you should want to go check out his channel, because shout out to him for making this video. So double yo, or whatever you want to call it. Anyway, so it's called My Favorite Puns in Genesis. I'd say we just keep a lighthearted attitude. I can't even promise or say, God willing, that tomorrow we'll have a Proverbs review, because honestly, my day is looking packed tomorrow because of Saturday. Sunday, I got to get all my work done before Sunday, because then the next school week starts and everything has been procrastinated. So let's hop into this reaction.
So since studying the Bible for my series on this channel, I've made some on and off attempts at learning ancient Hebrew. And while I'm not quite bar mitzvah level, I have learned enough to appreciate some of the clever puns and other wordplay in the Torah. And there's actually a lot of fun examples, so I thought I'd share my favorites from the book of Genesis. And yeah, that's what this video is gonna be. I thought it would be a fun and simple thing to do.
Sir, if you keep coming back here, I'll have to call the police.
In Genesis 2, Yahweh forms man, Adam, from the dust of the ground, Adamah, and breathes into his nostrils the breath of life. So the first human is Adam from Adamah. By the way, my Hebrew pronunciation is bad, so we're just gonna accept that and move on. Anyway, to adapt this pun into English, I've seen earthling from earth suggested, though I find that to sound a bit too clinical. I personally enjoy Robert Alter's rendering of it into the Lord God fashioned the human, humus from the soil. Though I guess there can't be humus in the ground if plants and animals don't exist yet, so whatever, A for effort, Robert. Later in Genesis 2, Yahweh takes from Adam's side to create the first woman. Oh yeah, and I'm not gonna go into whether Tsela means something other than rib in this video, so you can save those comments for later. Or comment anyway, it's good for engagement, I guess.
First, we're just gonna say, yes, commenting is good for engagement, if you'd like to do that. No, I'm kidding. I don't really play like that. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, what he's talking about with Selah being rib is a lot of people are saying, oh, he took it for one of his ribs, or oh, Selah actually could mean side, meaning that, taking it from the side of man, aka half of man. Like he took it from the side, sewed him up, so took half of him, made her out of the half and half dirt, whatever, or rib. I believe though the arguments for side was because the word specifically for rib wasn't created yet, because obviously this is very early, and it was actually first recorded in Daniel with something about a bear eating a rib or something like that. However, I think we come to find out that it was rib because it didn't have a word for rib, so when they say side, it meant rib and all that type of stuff, which is still not to discredit the fact that women are man's helpers, aka we are still equal, right? There is no man or woman, all are equal in the eyes of the Lord. Somewhere in maybe Ephesians is the verse, but I'm pretty sure it's rib. It's been a minute since I did my research on this, but you get the idea. It's either rib or side, and some people say both sides, so they're both equal, so blah, 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 blah. It's not just his rib, a little part of him, and that made the whole woman, and it's like, ma'am, we're all equal. You don't have to prove anything to us. We still love you.
Then Adam says, "This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She will be called woman, Isha, because she was taken out of man, Ish." Now this is what you call a folk etymology, an explanation for where a word comes from that doesn't actually reflect its true origin. The masculine noun Ish comes from the consonantal root Aleph Yod Shin. And while Isha sounds like its feminine form, it actually comes from a different root, Aleph Nun Shin. I don't want to try to explain Semitic roots. The point is, since these words are not derived from the same one, they had to have originated separately. Funnily enough, there's a very similar situation in English where the words male and female sound related too, but they actually come from completely different Old French words. So if you translated the verse as "she will be called female because she was taken out of a male," it would not only retain the same literal meaning, but also the same false etymology. If you're a Hebrew scholar scholar, please feel free to tell me why this translation would be a stupid idea, because I think it's brilliant. Now another pun. Genesis 2 ends with, the man and his wife were both naked, arumim, and they were not ashamed. Then Genesis 3 begins, now the serpent was more subtle, arum, than any animal of the field. The best English wordplay I can come up with would be, the man and his wife were both nude, followed by, the serpent was more shrewd. So if you're on the committee for the King James Version 2.0, feel free to credit me for that stroke of genius, thanks. Jumping ahead, in Genesis 11, all of humanity still belongs to just one culture, and they say, come, let's build ourselves a city and a tower whose top reaches the sky, and let's make a name for ourselves lest we be scattered abroad on the surface of the whole earth. But upon seeing their work, Yahweh says, behold, they are one people and they all have one language, and this is what they begin to do. Come, let's go down and there confuse their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. So Yahweh scattered them abroad from there on the surface of all the earth. They stopped building the city. Now, on top of explaining why different cultures and languages exist, this story is also a polemic against the Babylonians who exiled the Jews from their homeland. The tower whose top reaches the sky was likely imagined as a ziggurat, a type of step tower found in Mesopotamian cities. The Babylonians believed that the tower's height brought them closer to the gods, so to the Jews it would have made a fitting symbol for man's hubris. At the end of the story, we get a final dig at the Babylonians by way of folk etymology. Therefore, the city's name was called Bavel, meaning Babylon, because there Yahweh confused, Balal, the language of all the earth. Now, when I was a kid, I was told that the English word Babel came from this story, but that also is a folk etymology. There's actually no traceable connection. So it's just an amazing little coincidence that you can translate Genesis 11:9 into English with basically the same pun, though you need to get a little creative with the phrasing. Robert Alter renders it, therefore it is called Babel, for there the Lord made the language of all the earth Babel. But I prefer Richard Friedman's version. Its name was called Babylon because Yahweh babbled the language of all the earth there. Making it into a verb is just more playful, I guess, which is refreshing to me. I know this is a sacred book, but come on, this passage is cheeky as hell, and we should gladly embrace that. In fact, it's doing its authors a disservice not to. Okay, this last one's not a pun, but still a really clever choice of words that I enjoy. In Genesis 22, while Abraham is taking his son Isaac up the mountain, Isaac asks, here is the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for the burnt offering? To which Abraham responds, God will provide himself the lamb for the burnt offering, my son. And the Hebrew phrasing has the same ambiguity as in English with the punctuation removed. So it can be taken as God will provide the lamb, my son, or as God will provide the lamb, my son. Again, this book is funny. It's intentionally funny, and I think that deserves more appreciation. Let me know if you guys want more videos like this, because I've hardly scratched the surface here.
All right, so first things first, shout out to Jake W. That I just read the suggested videos of Jason and the Golden Fleece and the Argonauts, like Greek mythology, whatever. So that confused me. But sorry, Jake W. Fantastic video. The art quality, insane. I like your playful little style. Great. I've told some people this before, that I think that if everything, you know, if the church was truly one and everything, we'd go back to either speaking something like Greek or Hebrew, or just having like everybody know those two languages so we could read the Bible in its actual context that it's made for. Like when you talk to Muslims and they talk about the Quran, it's like everybody should learn Arabic so they can read the Quran in the original language and understand the context to which it was written by language. And I feel kind of the same about the Bible. Now, does that mean I'm going to go out of my way to learn Greek and Hebrew? No, but I really appreciate some people that do, like Jake W, and who make videos like this, because not only is it fun to see the way language works. For me, I like learning language. In high school, I learned Spanish. That was mad fun. Came to college and they couldn't start me in like intermediate Spanish again, or basic Spanish. Like I wanted to restart because I had 2 years off from high school. I stopped Spanish in 10th grade, but they were like, nope, you'd have to be at least in intermediate Spanish and have to take like a placement test. But regardless of how you placed on the placement test, you're going to intermediate Spanish because you have some background. And I was like, nope. So I started taking French, loved French. I did Japanese on Duolingo for 2 years. That was fantastic. I love everything about language and seeing the different things in different languages. So for example, in French, I learned that if you wanted to say like, yeah, that'll fly or that'll work or something like that, you just be like, c'est marché or c'est marche. And that basically just means it walks. How like we say that flies, like I'll let it fly, I'll let it slide, c'est marche. Like it works, it walks. or it walks is what it directly translates. Yeah, but either way, love stuff like this. This is better than I thought it would be. I originally thought it would be a joke video, but I'm so glad that it involved language and actually studying the word for real. So credit to Jake W. Hope you guys enjoyed this video as well. All right, that's gonna be the end of the video. Hope you guys have yourself a fantastic rest of your day. Peace.